welcome to my first ever and probably only conspiracy video regarding Adopt Me. Now, I don't usually post things like this, but I had the recollection that I think I know what pet is coming for the summer event. Now, you might be wondering, oh, how do you know this? Well, before we get to me telling you exactly which pet is coming to Adopt Me, I want to ask you a few questions regarding some old pets that have come to be known in Adopt Me. So, do any of these pets I'm fixing to show you have any correlation that you can recall? The mecha pets. The rock. Or even the 2D kitty. Now, if you guessed and told me that these were all April Fool's pets, and pets that were once in the game for a little bit, and then got released permanently, you would be correct. These are April Fool's pets. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is this theory, the sandwich theory, as I call it, is regarding the Summerfest event, which is camp themed. As you know, if you've been following the events previously, noted by the TikTok or YouTube page by Adopt Me, the Summerfest is camp themed. Now, I want you to think, what would you eat if you were at a camp? Maybe you'd make some s'mores for the campfire. Maybe you'd run around, eating popsicles. But what I know that I eat, and I know a lot of other people most likely eat when they go camping, is none other than sandwiches. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is the fact that recently, for 2 months ago, a pet was released. And the pet was a sandwich, a mega fly ride sandwich. Now, if you were like me, you absolutely adored this update for the fact it was a cute food pet, just like my beautiful hazelnut is over here. And obviously you used it a lot. If you checked my TikTok page, which this video's definitely posted on, so you can go back and check it, but if this is my YouTube page, I'll have this video on my TikTok linked below. You will know that I had adored the sandwich pet because I was Garfield and, just loved it in general. Now, why am I bringing this to attention that the sandwich from the last event is coming back to Adopt Me permanently? Now, this is just a theory, but hold off with me, because I have proof, and a ton of proof, that this pet, the sandwich that was once in Adopt Me in April 1st, is coming back. Now, if you're wondering, and you've been keeping up with other things as well, what are the first clues to this weird thing that's come to Adopt Me? Now, obviously, if you were in the school whenever the first few updates for the Summerfest were coming along, you've noticed that Shepard, our beautiful detective Shepard, Inspector Shepard, was sitting by one of the bedsides where there were forks. Forks? That's odd. Why would there be forks there? Now, what do forks represent? I want to ask you, what do forks represent? Obviously, forks represent, eating, food, things like that. I mean, you look at my house, for example. I have a ton of food in this house. I mean, it's a Garfield themed house, obviously, so there's gonna be food. But forks represent food. Not spoons, not knives, forks. And now, what in the school has forks? The cafeteria. Now, I'm gonna make my way to the cafeteria so that you can all see that there are forks. But I want to ask, what is served in the cafeteria? What originally came from the school's cafeteria? Over here is where the forks were, by the way. Obviously, you saw a picture of it. But obviously, there's forks. There's also spoons, but there's forks here. And what do they serve? Sandwiches. Do you know what this means? This means that this is closer steps to what can be the breakthrough of my theory, is that the sandwich pet, which was sitting right here back when it came out, this little goober of a pet, is forever going to be an adopt-me whenever the summer event comes. Now, this is not just the one idea, this isn't just like, oh, this theory is like based off of like barely anything. No, this theory is based off of the fact that there's a few more notable things that have came, than just forks. Now, you might be wondering, what are the other things that have been noted in the summer camp event that could mean anything? Well, if you go into the hospital, which it's no longer there, but if you go into the hospital when it was there, you would see that one of the, inspectors, detectives, were talking to one of the hospital workers. And, you'd think nothing of it, of the fact that it's just, a little thing, nothing big. Well, it is something. Because if you ever actually listen into the conversation, you would hear the word quack used. That shows an example here. And then you go into the VIP area, which I obviously don't have VIP, but I've had friends that have VIP help me with this. And you go in there, and the dirty ducky is missing. Left behind just one fork. Now, you'd think, okay, well, the dirty ducky's gone and there's a fork there, but how does this mean a sandwich? Well, here's the thing. The dirty ducky is representing the dirty deeds that are being done right now under your noses and adopt-me. Because the culprit behind this is Daggy. Daggy is behind all of this. And the only person who knows this is Jessie. And obviously you're like, what do you mean? How is Daggy behind this? What are the people that adopt me? How is Daggy behind this? Well, Daggy is wanting a sandwich army. If you had been here during the Adopt Me updates for admin abuses, you would know that Daggy has been collecting, and this week actually is collecting sandwiches. Now, why would Daggy need that many sandwiches? Then if he's building a giant sandwich army and trying to release the sandwich pet, which also connects to the fact that it was mega when it was released. It was a mega fly ride pet. If you go into the hospital and you pull out any mega you want, it doesn't matter. It has to be a mega. The front lady who heals your pets asks for a large sum of money. Why would they do this if you have a mega pet if it's not connected to the one Adopt Me pet that was part of the April Fool's update a few months ago? Mind you, this hospital has the 2D kitty, which was released decently recently, on the wall. So an April Fool's pet is on the wall. It's been released recently, and you're wondering, how is this connected? Well, they're asking about, money from megas, and the sandwich pet that was released for just that day 2 months ago was a mega. Now, if that isn't already surprising enough, and if you're like, that's a lot of evidence, but how does this compare? Well, if you watched more of the videos and you recently seen the one posted a few hours ago by the Adopt Me TikTok page, you would know that Jessie says that he doesn't trust Daggy, the Daggy bot, and he says it has to be Daggy. Why would Daggy be there and not just some bot to collect them if he isn't using them for himself to create and release enough pets, enough Adopt Me, sandwich pets for the community? Why would he do that? And why would they be going against each other, Jessie and Daggy? Why would Jessie be like, you have to choose a side? if it's not because Jesse knows that the sandwich pets are going to be released. He hasn't given us pretty much many like clues directly on the feed that that he knows that Daggy is doing this. Because if he does that, then everybody, the entire thing will be spoiled, and it's going to be really hard to think. But he has said that he and Daggy are going against each other. What other thing could happen? What other thing would cause these two to pick, make us pick a side if it wasn't for the fact that it's the sandwich pet? Now, I know this is a lot to take in, and the fact that you're like, whoa, are we sure this is all of it? But the clues are here. And what else could this be pointing at? We already know a few of the pets that are coming and releasing, which are like dragon stuff. But this is a breakthrough. Now, I do want to remind you all that this is just a theory. There's no, like, this is just my theory. I'm not, like, saying this is 100% true. But with all of the things happening, this is the one theory that I think is really, really good. Because what else would connect all of these points together than the release of the April Fool's sandwich that we all love? We all. Yes. So, I want your opinions on this, and if anybody else has any other clues that could correlate and help me, push the idea that the sandwich pet is releasing this summer, please do. And if you have anything that could push this idea, be like, oh, it's wrong, just give your opinions in general, because this is a theory that I stand for and I think is so good. Because why are all of these events connected? Inspector Shepard, everybody talking, the Forks, and Daggy. What does all of this mean? Do update me on any of your guys' ideas. And that is all I have to say today. Make sure you keep digging, and let's see who's right this next update. Goodbye.